Hi guys and welcome to the Batch Lady and Happy New Year. It is 2020, it's January, it's the first video that I'm doing of this year, so I'm super excited to be back. It's already been a really busy week, everybody's into batching. I think 2020 is going to be the year of batching. So I said to you when I left before Christmas that I was going to take a break, and when we came back we were going to look at healthy eating, because why not jump on the bandwagon? Everybody's talking about healthy eating, we all are trying to do it. I'm constantly trying to do it, and anyway, I'm going to show you some recipes, some different parts of different things as well, that are all low calorie, so that no matter what diet you are on, you can sort of tweak it to your own diet. So because people have got in touch saying I'm doing Weight Watchers, I'm doing Slimming World, I'm doing the Fast 800, so lots of people doing different things, and really no matter what diet you do, I think the main thing is, if you want to keep doing it after halfway through January, then it's really about how planned and organised you are in advance. And of course, batching is actually that, it's actually about preempting what's going to happen, thinking about it and doing it in advance. It doesn't matter if you're doing food, if you're sorting out kids' clothes, if you're getting ready for a holiday in a month's time. If you can batch all of the stuff and get, you know, all planned and written in and organised, then you're probably going to sort of feel better about yourself and be organised and actually fulfil it and go through and get on and do it. So that's the way sort of organisation works. I have always been into organisation and planning and time management. I did a management degree at university, and it's just my thing. So even though I'm doing it in cooking, there's quite a lot of other things that I do in my life that hopefully throughout this year I'm going to start to show you a bit more of other things that I batch in my life as well. Right, so basically today you are going to get a bumper edition, so I'm going to go fast. I am going to show you how to make a low calorie mashed potato, okay, that freezes unbelievably well, which is really hard to do, to get a good mashed potato that freezes if you've made it yourself. I'm going to show you how to get organised for breakfast that you can grab and go and run out the door that are really low calorie. You can make them at the beginning of the week and eat them throughout the week. This is all in today's video, so we're going to work fast. I'm going to show you a really good dip that you can make at the beginning of the week, and then you can just take with you in a little pot with some little vegetables and stuff like that, and a few sort of dessert options. Okay, so there's quite a lot going on today. Stay tuned till the end. I am going to run through my fridge and freezer and quickly let you see all the low calorie sort of things that I do to get organised in advance, because I too, like you can tell I'm not a size 8, so I'm on this bandwagon with everybody else. I've got a book coming out in March and I'd like to look a lot slimmer than I do. Okay, so yeah, we're going to crack on, and throughout January and February as well, I'm going to be tweaking a lot of recipes and putting them out on a post showing you a slimmer version of the same recipe, okay? So that's going to be happening as well throughout January and February. So we're going to get on with the mash now, okay? What you want to do is you want to peel your potatoes, you want to chop them into tiny little pieces. You need 500 grams of potatoes. You can of course double and triple the recipe, so you could do it in a big vat because it's all going in the freezer. You want them to be quite small, and you want to cook them until they're just like really quite soft, you know, because you're going to be mashing them. Now, the top tip for this mash is this rice, or is that what that's called? Is that what that's called? A mandolin, is that it? I got this for a wedding present, have never used it. A few weeks ago I was out with two friends, Lorna and Harriet, and they told me that this is a great way to make mash. So I've already done it a few times and it works great. Now, it makes a really nice smooth mash. Don't go out and buy one if you don't have one, you can just mash it. But the more that you can get it into tiny little pieces, you need your strength. See, this is your workout too, added in. The more that you can get it into these tiny little pieces, it mashes them really well. If you've got a potato masher, just start mashing and get it as small as you can, okay? Okay, so the ricer has made the mash like tiny little bits of rice, so it's just a really quick way of mashing it. So if you happen to have one, then you can use it. All we're going to do next is use a vegetable stock cube, a Knorr vegetable stock cube. Top tip as well is I like to grate it into the water, because then it instantly dissolves, okay? So you're going to want about 150 ml to 500 grams of potatoes. It will slightly change depending on what potatoes you buy, so I'll show you how you add it in. And then you want to use this Total 0% fat, it's quark, I would say. Well, Total is a different one, but it's basically like quark, okay? I've got a huge tub of this because I'm using it for lots of stuff. So you want 150 mils of this as well, okay? Which is actually about half a cup. So this is a little quarter cup. So I'm just going to make this half a cup. Okay, mix it in. And you'll see it's quite dry at the moment. And then you just start adding your vegetable stock. So it is going to taste slightly different than normal mash, because it's going to have that vegetable stock flavour. But actually I really liked it. So I made this one in advance, okay? And I so only put in a little bit at a time, sorry. Keep mixing. I'm going to lift that up because it's going to make a big noise on the counter. I made that one and then I froze it, and when I defrosted it, it looked really watery. Okay, it hadn't separated, but it looked really watery. And I was quite worried. I thought, oh, it's not really worked. I gave it a mix around, and then I heated it up, and it went perfectly dry again. So it works perfect actually. It didn't split at all, you know, it was actually really, really good. So every time you give this a stir, you can just see the consistency. And I'd say you want it to be, if you're leaving it in mashed potatoes like this and you're just using it as a tub of mash, then you want it to be quite wet. But if you're putting it on top of a pie, like a fish pie, then you want it to be a bit drier, okay? And just talking about fish pies, there's lots of, like fish pie, I'm going to give you a recipe for a sauce that you can use with this mash to make a low-calorie fish pie, so that's coming up as well. And there are new recipes as well coming out, so stay tuned for that. You have just made a really creamy mash that freezes easy, that's really simple. You can then go on and make fish cakes. You can serve it with like low-calorie sausages. This is Slimming World free, I think, although please don't quote me on that because I have nothing to do with Slimming World. I just happen to know that I think you can, it's free. I think you're allowed potatoes, you're allowed pork, and you're allowed this, I think. Okay, so that is how you make low-calorie mashed potatoes. One of my other top tips is, so I'm sort of slightly following a Slimming World, but not really, so I'm on that sort of thing. But I do like having eggs in the morning, and the kids are having eggs in the morning as well. So I don't have time in the morning. You can make these in advance. I've just made scrambled eggs, okay? I made normal scrambled eggs. I have added a bit of, you know that tub that you can get that's just egg whites? So I've added a little bit of that as well, so it sort of bulks it out without it being all the yolks. And then I just take a bit off in the morning and reheat it, and I can have scrambled egg on toast. I made sort of like low-calorie sausages and already cooked them so that they're all in the fridge and can just be reheated, okay? These scrambled egg last for a long time. You know, if you're ever in a hotel, they make scrambled egg beforehand. It's not like they're making your scrambled egg then. It lasts a long time, reheats really well, so perfect thing to do. Just get it in your fridge, and I'll show you when I open my fridge in a minute how it's just another thing that you can take out, and you're not sort of panicking thinking, what am I going to have for lunch, what am I going to have for breakfast? It's already there. You can just scoop it, heat it, 3 minutes, you've ate your breakfast and you're on the go and off to work. Okay, so perfect top tip if you're looking for something low calorie. If you're on a carb-free diet or something like that, really good to get it all cooked in advance. It'll last a few days. Maybe choose time to do it in at the weekend, spend half an hour and just think about yourself. No day out, just think about yourself and all the little bits that you can have and get them ready in advance. Maybe do the same about Wednesday if it's fresh stuff for the fridge. Okay, moving on. Okay, so here's another great one to do as well, which is overnight oats. So I'm sure many of you would do this. You can use one of these little Quaker overnight oats packets. I quite like them, but I also have a big jar of oats, so it just depends what I've happened to have got in the house. Excuse me, it's okay, I'm only eating it, no one else is, so I can do that. So just throw your oats in. I know I quite like this when I'm watching my calories because I know exactly how much is in the packet, which is good. Then I'm just going to add some yogurt. And I tend to use this Greek style yogurt, okay? It's, this one's from Tesco, Greek style yogurt, 0% fat, but it's quite thick. Again, it's Slimming World free, so you can have this. And I just pour some on. You can do a measurement or you can just roughly sort of add some in. the oats are at the bottom, and you can give it a mix through, and then I just throw some frozen berries on it. So they're all things that you can just have in your house already. You're not having to specifically go out and buy. I also sometimes put frozen mango and all different sort of stuff in, and you can add some fresh stuff in the morning. But you basically mix that up, okay, so that the oats aren't just at the bottom. Give it a mix with a spoon. You can make these a couple of days in advance, okay? So you can maybe make 3 of these and they would keep. I wouldn't do any more than 3. You could just grab it with a spoon, you can take it to work, you can have it for your lunch. Another really good thing that you can make in advance, get a few of them done, and you are good to just grab and go, okay? Are we keeping going? Oh, this is quite a manic for January, isn't it? Oh, we're on the ball. So we are moving on, and I want to show you a really good snack that you can do, okay? If you're wanting something that you can just grab and go. I'm using this sort of Kilner jar because I'm trying to use a lot less plastic this year. So I've just got some, I just bought some carrot batons, I bought the little peas and cut up some cucumber, and I usually just keep that in a big tub, just like one of these big sealable tubs in the fridge, okay? Now I love cheese, and I don't always want to eat lots of it if you're being really healthy. So a good thing to do is if you buy a thing of cheese like this and you know it's going to be go off before you're finished using it, then you can simply cut it into cubes. So I've weighed these cubes, okay, because I know I'm allowed a certain amount of cheese each day, and it's like that. That's all you're allowed. So I freeze it, and then I just take out the bits that I need, and it saves so much food waste. All of this planning in advance saves so much food waste. And all you do is you take your little bit of blue cheese that you're allowed, and you get, again, some total quark, okay? And you really don't have to measure it. I mean, you can just sort of, I'm just going to put half the jar in. It depends how strong you want it. I don't need it that strong, so I'd rather it last for a long time. Okay, so I'm just filling up this little Kilner jar. I'm putting in my soft cheese. If you don't like soft cheese, you could use whatever one you want, okay? You could think of a different flavouring that was a healthy sort of flavouring, and all you do with a fork is sort of mush it around for about 5 minutes. You're going to have to keep it going for a while, okay? Just give it a quick mush with a fork, and you've made your own really healthy dip, okay? You are literally just going to dip and go. You can seal it up. It's going to go in your fridge, and it's going to be perfect and last you a good few days, and hardly cost you any money compared to a dip that you would buy, and it's healthy. You're not going to waste the cheese because you're just going to cut it into your portions. Now, that's been a bit, I've showed you quite a lot already. I'm going to take you over and show you my fridge and freezer, and just show you how being organised can really help save your food waste, keep you on track, stop you spending tons of money, and basically mean that you can get up in the morning, grab and go. If I had this, I could grab these in a box, and I'm off, and I know that I'm pretty much covered till after lunch, okay? Right, let's go and see the fridge.